It is the middle of the night, but sleep is not an option. Actually, I have been wide awake since yesterday. The adrenaline and mind-blowing frost are keeping me up and alert. My senses are heightened, although my face is completely numbed by the freezing wind. With teary eyes, I look around me, and all I can see is nothing. Nothing to my right, nothing to my left. Only enormous mountains for as far as the eye could see. There are no other humans for hundreds of miles. But it is not humans we are looking for. We are sitting still on our snowmobiles in the frozen fjord, scanning the area with binoculars while nerve-wracking uncertainty fills our aching bones. Then, suddenly, I'm spotting these unusual white dots at the horizon. They are approaching us, getting clearer and clearer with every massive step they make. It is them! I'm so excited, I almost can't breathe. All of a sudden, I don't feel the cold. After moments of staring with awe and amazement at these majestic creatures walking towards me, I'm remembering why I'm here and shift my bewildered eyes to the camera's viewfinder. I'm clicking like crazy, matching the rhythm of the camera clicks to my racing heartbeat. Mama bear and her two adorable young cubs are pacing towards us like a polar marching band, and I have to capture that insane sight. They are getting closer, so close that at some point I must flip my camera to vertical mode, and I still can't take my eyes off them. Suddenly, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I look back for a quick second, only to meet Tom's serious look. "Roy, we must go, now!" I guess I was so hypnotized by these giants of nature, I hadn't really considered that a family of the world's largest land predator was moving towards us and was now just a few meters away. So we quickly hopped on our snowmobiles and drove away, leaving our precious gear behind. I guess polar bears like taking photos too. So, as you might have guessed by now, I am a wildlife photographer. And us photographers have a tendency to think our cameras are shields that can protect us from any harm. Well, sadly, they don't. That's why when I travel around the world, far away from home and my comfort zone, I need guys like Tom. Local specialists who knows those unpredictable remote places like the back of their hand. And they'll do a pretty good job at keeping me alive. Tom accompanies me on my journeys to one of my favorite places in the world, Svalbard, in the high Arctic. A magical wonderland rich with incredible wildlife, and therefore an ideal spot for me to pursue my life goal: documenting endangered animals in their wild habitat and raising awareness to the threats they encounter today. Now, you guys here in Finland are familiar with those snowy white landscapes, being just a few hundreds of kilometers south of the Arctic Circle. But for me, there was nothing familiar about it when I first visited the Arctic 10 years ago. It felt like entering the magic wardrobe and stepping into Narnia. And although polar bears don't talk, they are pretty awesome. I was, and I still am, fascinated by them. But, as we said, getting close is dangerous. So how can I capture these fellows' true character in an intimate and relatable way? I'm able to do so thanks to a few simple ground rules. The most important one is true to all wildlife photography and working in nature in general, and that is respect. Respect the animals and their environment. We are merely privileged guests in their beautiful home. Another rule is research. Learn to understand and predict your model's behavior. Polar bears, for that matter, tend to belong to one of three kinds. The first one is the aggressive bear. These guys, it's pretty self-explanatory, but these guys aren't really friendly, and they don't pose for photo shoots. So if I recognize an aggressive bear, I will just gracefully turn around and keep exploring, looking for its not-so-aggressive friends. Hopefully, I'll cross paths with the second kind of bear, the indifferent one. It might sound like they're rude, but actually, they are the best hosts a wildlife photographer can ask for. Basically, these guys don't care about my doing, and they're perfectly fine with me capturing them acting naturally in their environment. The last kind of bear, and the ultimate winner of the Best Named Bear contest, is the butt bear. These guys don't like the attention, and if they spot someone's coming, they will simply walk away. Hence, butt bears. Of course, we just let them be and won't follow them. Oh, and there is one other kind of bear, and actually, my personal favorite. The adorables, also known as cubs. Look at these sweet little guys, the ones we met just a few moments ago. Adorable siblings playing around in the Arctic sun. When I took these images, although it was minus 30 degrees, my heart just melted. Sadly, these sweet little things and all polar bears are really struggling right now. The Arctic is eating up twice as fast as the rest of the world. And as temperature rise, sea ice melts, and habitat spaces get smaller and smaller. Scientists predict that polar bears will become extinct by the end of this century, with the majority of their population gone by 2050, maybe even sooner. And it is not easy to increase growth in this bear population. Each female can become pregnant only once every 3 years, since she is busy raising her cubs for 2.5 years. She will only mate again after her little ones are fully grown and able to survive in the extreme conditions of the Arctic by themselves. If a male wants to mate with her during that time, he will first kill her cubs. It sounds cruel, but it is nature. Because mating is so rare, I knew I had to capture it. And this is how it played out just a month ago in Svalbard. This is us, 4 crazy photographers laying on the frozen fjord at minus 30 degrees. And this is a big male making his way through the barren landscape. And right about here is when we noticed he was making these weird movements, sniffing and kind of tasting the air. He was seeking out the pheromones of a nearby female. If there was a chance of a reproductive act here, then there is hope of new polar bears coming into this world really soon. And there she was. This marks the beginning of a week-long honeymoon. It started off with this sweet flirtation to induce her ovulation. Once she was ready, they mated for a whole hour. Finally, they went to sleep together until morning. When they woke up, after the male made sure the female was no longer in heat, they each went their separate ways and will never see each other again. I was deeply moved by this rare intimate encounter, and I sure do hope it indeed ended up with pregnancy, because we really need more polar bears around. That's not only due to my love of nature and cute wildlife, but also because the Arctic region is a crucial part of our ecosystem. It plays an important role in balancing global climate and sea level. Its warming has direct impact on communities all over the world. Hundreds of millions of people are living in coastal regions with risk of flooding. Entire communities are in danger of forced relocation, denied access to food, and even starvation. Basically, our fate is tied to the Arctic. And protecting polar bears means protecting ourselves. So you could imagine why I just hate knowing that polar bear extinction can happen in our lifetime. That we are letting this happen under our watch. That we are ruining the planet we have lived on for millions of years. Polar bears, and all of us, deserve better than that. So I decided to make it my life mission, harnessing the power of photography to raise awareness to this important issue. In recent years, I have given hundreds of talks about the Arctic and our role in its preservation before it's too late to audiences just like you. I have become a regular participant on popular TV shows advocating for the Arctic and written many magazine articles calling to protect it. I was given a great opportunity to serve as a Greenpeace ambassador to the Arctic, and my images were used as exhibits in the campaigns against oil and gas drilling near the North Pole. I believe that these images I have shared with you today, and those we see more and more of on the media, are helping us realize what is happening right now, as we speak, not too far from here. When you look at my images, I enjoy looking in your eyes, noticing your facial expressions. When I see even one set of eyes light up, I know that the connection is made, that you are now my companions on a wonderful adventure to preserve precious wildlife and nature. Thanks to this powerful influence photography has on people's hearts, minds, and actions, I am standing here today, sharing the alarming story of the melting Arctic with you. Fortunately, the end of this story is yet to be told. Talented and skilled women and men are making great efforts to preserve the Arctic. Each and every one of us has the power to help promoting that change, to fight global warming and exploitation of the Arctic. Let's support this important cause. It can be as easy as taking a few moments and get informed about the Arctic and form your own opinions regarding what we discussed here today. Share these ideas and maybe even this talk with your friends, in hope that they will join us too. Together, we can stand up for our planet and future. Because, as the title of this talk suggests, it is not just climate that's changing. It is all of us. Thank you.